Imagine walking through the cold streets of London in the late 1800s. Thick smoke filled the air. The streets were crowded with horse carts, factory workers, and children trying to earn a few coins. For many families, every day was a fight to survive. In one small neighborhood on April 16, 1889, a baby boy was born. His name was Charlie Chaplin. No one could imagine that this poor child would one day become the most famous actor in the world. But Charlie's first years were anything but happy. His father was a singer, but he struggled with alcohol. He spent very little time with his family. Charlie's mother, Hannah, was also a performer. She loved the stage and had a beautiful voice. But life was hard, and she often became sick. As money disappeared, food became harder to find. Some days, Charlie and his older brother, Sidney, had almost nothing to eat. Can you imagine being hungry every single day while still dreaming of a better future? Things became even worse. Charlie's mother became too ill to work. Without her income, the family had almost nothing left. Soon, Charlie and Sidney were sent to a workhouse. It was a place where poor people lived and worked for basic food and shelter. For a young child, it felt cold and lonely. The beds were hard, the rooms were crowded. Every morning looked exactly the same. Many children there lost hope. But Charlie was different. Even in the darkest moments, he loved making people laugh. Whenever he saw someone looking sad, he would make funny faces or copy the way people walked. Sometimes other children laughed so hard that they forgot their troubles for a few minutes. Without knowing it, Charlie had already discovered something very special. Laughter could make pain disappear, even if only for a little while. But life still had another difficult surprise waiting for him. One day, Charlie's mother became so sick that she had to stay in a hospital for people with serious mental illness. Suddenly, Charlie felt more alone than ever. His father was almost never there. His mother was gone. His family was falling apart. Many people would have given up. Charlie refused. Instead of feeling sorry for himself, he watched everything around him. He carefully noticed how people smiled, cried, walked, and moved. Every little detail became part of his imagination. Years later, these simple observations would help create one of the most famous characters in movie history. But Charlie didn't know that yet. Right now, he was simply trying to survive. As he grew older, Charlie found one place where he truly felt alive: the stage. Whenever he watched actors perform, something changed inside him. The lights, the music, the audience. It felt magical. He dreamed of standing there one day. But dreams were not enough. He needed work. At only 9 years old, Charlie began taking small acting jobs. The pay was tiny, but every performance taught him something new. He learned how to move without speaking. He learned how one small expression could tell a whole story. Most importantly, he learned that people loved to laugh. Little by little, audiences began to notice the talented young boy. But success did not come overnight. There were many days without work, many nights without enough food, many moments when Charlie wondered if his dream would ever come true. Still, he never stopped trying. Every failure became another lesson. Every small performance made him a little better. Then, something unexpected happened. Charlie joined a traveling comedy group. For the first time, he left his poor neighborhood and performed in different cities. Each new audience taught him something different. Some laughed loudly, some stayed completely silent. Charlie quickly understood that making people laugh was much harder than it looked. He studied every performance. He changed small movements. He practiced every day. Slowly, he became one of the group's best performers. People started remembering his name, but his biggest opportunity was still waiting across the ocean. In the early 1900s, America was becoming the center of a brand new industry. Motion pictures, movies without sound, were growing more popular every year. The world was looking for fresh faces, new stars, new entertainers. Charlie had no idea that his life was about to change forever. In 1910, His comedy group traveled to the United States. Everything looked different. The cities were bigger. The theaters were brighter. The crowds were larger than anything Charlie had ever seen. He immediately felt that America was full of possibilities. During one performance, someone important was sitting in the audience, a movie producer. He watched Charlie carefully. Not just his jokes, not just his funny walk. He noticed something deeper. Charlie could make people laugh without saying a single word. That rare talent caught everyone's attention. Soon, Charlie received an offer that seemed impossible. He was invited to work in Hollywood. For the poor boy who once struggled to find his next meal, it felt like a dream. But dreams often come with difficult choices. Charlie packed his few belongings. He said goodbye to the life he had always known. He stepped onto a ship that would carry him toward an unknown future. He could not see what was waiting for him. He could not imagine that millions of people would soon recognize his face. He did not know that one simple costume, a small mustache, a black bowler hat, a walking cane, and oversized shoes, would become one of the most famous images in history. Everything was about to change. But success would bring new challenges, unexpected enemies, and painful sacrifices. And the greatest chapter of Charlie Chaplin's life was only just beginning. Charlie arrived in Hollywood with big dreams, but success did not come overnight. At first, he acted in short comedy movies. He worked long hours. Every day, he practiced new ideas. He wanted every movement to look natural. He believed that even a small smile or a simple step could tell a powerful story. Then one day, everything changed. Charlie put on a pair of oversized shoes. He wore loose pants, a tight coat, a small black hat, and a tiny toothbrush mustache. He picked up a walking cane and started walking in a funny way. That was the birth of the Tramp. The character looked poor, but he never lost his dignity. He was kind, hopeful, and full of courage. He often made mistakes, but he never stopped trying. People instantly fell in love with him. Children laughed, parents laughed, even people who spoke different languages understood his stories. Charlie didn't need words. His face and body spoke to everyone. Soon, movie theaters around the world were filled with people waiting to see his next film. Charlie Chaplin had become one of the biggest stars on earth. But fame brought something unexpected: pressure. People expected every new movie to be better than the last. Charlie refused to rush his work. Sometimes he filmed the same scene hundreds of times until it felt perfect. Many people thought he was too demanding. Charlie simply believed that great art needed patience, and his hard work paid off. He created unforgettable movies like The Kid, The Gold Rush, City Lights, and Modern Times. These films made people laugh, but they also made people think. Behind every funny moment was a deeper message about poverty, loneliness, love, and hope. Have you ever noticed that the happiest people sometimes hide the greatest pain? That was Charlie's gift. He turned sadness into laughter. One of his most famous films, Modern Times, showed workers struggling inside huge factories. The machines seemed to control people's lives. The movie was funny, but it also asked an important question. Was modern life making people happier, or simply making them work harder? Millions of viewers understood the message. Charlie was no longer just a comedian. He had become one of the world's greatest storytellers. Then another dark chapter began. In the 1940s and early 1950s, the world became filled with political fear. Many famous people were accused of having dangerous political ideas. Charlie Chaplin became one of them. Although he had never become an American citizen, he had lived in the United States for many years. Some newspapers attacked him. Some politicians criticized him. Rumors spread everywhere. His personal life was also often discussed in public. The man who had made the whole world laugh suddenly became one of Hollywood's most controversial figures. Then came the moment that shocked everyone. In 1952, Charlie left America for a trip to Europe. While he was away, the U.S. government canceled his permission to return unless he faced questioning about his political beliefs. Charlie made a difficult decision. Instead of fighting to come back, he chose to begin a new life in Switzerland with his wife and children. Imagine leaving the country where you built your greatest success. Imagine knowing you might never return. It was one of the hardest moments of his life, but Charlie did not stop creating. From his peaceful home near the mountains of Switzerland, he continued writing music and making films. He remained hopeful. He believed that kindness would always be stronger than hate. Years passed. The world slowly changed. People began to look back at Charlie's work with fresh eyes. They remembered not the political arguments, but the laughter, the unforgettable movies, the little man with the cane who always stood back up after falling down. Then something incredible happened. In 1972, after 20 years away, Charlie Chaplin returned to Hollywood. He was invited to receive an honorary Academy Award for his extraordinary contribution to cinema. As he walked onto the stage, something unforgettable happened. The audience stood up, they clapped, and they kept clapping. 1 minute passed, then 2, then 5. The applause continued for nearly 12 minutes. Many people had tears in their eyes. It became one of the longest standing ovations in Oscar history. For Charlie, it was more than an award. It was forgiveness. It was respect. It was a moment that proved great art can outlive criticism. Just a few years later, in 1975, he received another great honor. Queen Elizabeth II made him a knight. From a hungry boy on the streets of London to Sir Charlie Chaplin. What an incredible journey. On Christmas Day in 1977, Charlie Chaplin passed away peacefully at his home in Switzerland. He was 88 years old, but his story did not end there. Even today, people around the world continue watching his films. Children who have never heard a silent movie still laugh at the Tramp. Adults still find hope in his stories. His work reminds us that laughter has no language. It crosses every border. It connects every generation. Charlie Chaplin once said, "A day without a laughter is a day wasted." Those simple words continue to inspire millions of people. His life teaches us something even more powerful. You do not need to be born rich. You do not need a perfect childhood. You do not need an easy life. Sometimes the people who suffer the most become the ones who bring the greatest joy to others. Charlie Chaplin turned pain into hope. He turned silence into unforgettable stories. And he proved that one person, armed with nothing more than kindness, imagination, and courage, can make the entire world smile. His little walk may have ended long ago, but his footsteps will echo through movie history forever.